Bob had no idea when he played this game that I would claim it as my birthday present, but I'm going to do just that because, let's be honest here, this is a Lizardmen build if I've ever seen one. We've got the Prophet of Sotek here up on his arc, and he's going to be looking for AoE bombardment. Does have some Flock of Doom for damage, but with his wild form as well. Got a Rev Crystal, Star Chamber Guardians, and Cohort of Sotek, newly buffed. Quite decent now, I would think. The rest is, you might be wondering, over here. There's 3 units of Horned Ones currently being hidden by a Quaddle. Not only that, but the Regiment Renown Quaddle that has a Verona's Time Warp and multiple heals. 2 uses of Earthblood, which will, of course, synergize both those abilities, honestly. Will synergize greatly with the Horned Ones. We've got some Furies for Khorne on the opposite side. Looks like a Herald on the motorcycle, quite nice. Warhounds, we've got Heralds of Khorne's Fury, a bunch of Halberds, and a Chosen with dual hand weapons. Very interesting choice. Kind of wild build from Khorne, and I love it, to be honest. I love the motorcycles. They were buffed. They're not incredible now, from what I've heard, and I haven't experienced them a ton myself in-game yet since the buffs and changes, but certainly Skull Cannon's quite good. This guy seems better. I don't know. Is he good? Remains to be seen, but currently Spirit of Tepok got harassed a little bit by the Furies there, who are in a spot. All these Horned Ones, they force the Quaddle to the ground, so they can't take advantage of that stock aura. Not that there's really anything to punish, but the Furies just kind of hanging around for now. You see the brick of Star Chamber Guardians and the Cohort of Sotek. Tenuin himself, they're right now continuing straight, but it looks like they're going to curve onto the side and start to path over in this direction. Let's see if the Furies maybe jump in here. Right now they're kind of threatening, just flying around close. Certainly it would help Khorne to have the Halberds in range to support this engagement potentially. Same for the Lizardmen. I mean, they definitely want Tenuin and his magic, the healing of the Rev Crystal and everything else to potentially be a part of things, but Khorne's going to get things going. The Heralds charge on in. They're going to get countercharged by the Horned Ones, obviously. Multiple directions. We see that right away. Nissan's Wild Form at least comes into a couple of these with the AoE cast on the upcast. Verona's Time Warp from the Quaddle also lands. The Quaddle itself is going to jump in here. Janky bird animations. Flock of Doom. You see the Herald also jumped in. Tenuin moving over himself. All the Furies kind of blob in. And if we take a look at the units once again, if I kind of pull up the bases, you can see how a lot of the Furies are actually getting boxed out a little bit here. Tenuin is also going to line up an orbital strike from his Holy Laser of Justice, and that is going to do a substantial amount of damage to the Furies, especially. All 3, well, I guess 2 of them really. The other one actually crumbling. This one's holding okay. But yeah, losing out a couple of units, or at least 1 unit of Furies so far. Although the Horned Ones also took a pretty substantial amount of damage in that engagement. 1 unit has been dealt with already and routed off. They've got about 700 value apiece. Only 500 on that one, but still. Lots of Halberds for them to potentially try and kill, so let's see how they can hold. The Chosen, Chosen dual hand weapons also get in on the Cohort of Sotek, who, despite their elite stats, are going to get absolutely painted the color that they already are. Yeah, you can see them trying to, like, shift to the side and just maneuver out of this engagement. That's actually pretty smart. The Bastillodon comes through to block some of the models as well, and yeah, the Cohort of Sotek kind of overblobbing a little bit here, but that Flock of Doom hitting a lot of the Khorne army all at the same time. And we'll see. The Halberds definitely having their work cut out for them. They're going to have a hard time staying in base contact with a lot of these units. But Heralds of Khorne's Fury managed to get a clean charge, pretty much 1v1 on the Horned Ones. That's going to be a pretty good engagement for them, although not great. Horned Ones are definitely not a pushover by any means. Actually, stats are very comparable. Heralds just have straight up better melee defense, and anti-infantry bonus, but other than that, actually basically the same unit, pretty much. And so, yeah, with the other unit of Horned Ones jumps in, that's going to go just fine for the Lizards. 1 Halberd actually shatters here as we see some healing. Star Chamber Guardians get that Rev Crystal on them to keep their HP intact. And, yeah, the Herald also getting caught by the unit of Horned Ones on the opposite side. He doesn't have the mass to really pull through them very effectively, so he kind of gets boxed in here. It's going to take a substantial amount of damage. And, again, this blob fight for Tenuin, just absolutely feasting with his Flock of Doom. There was a Blood Reaper mixed in here as well. Has been chasing around the Spirit of Tepok on the ground. Has been getting some hits in. And the janky Quaddle animations are nice in some ways, but does mean that it has a hard time taking off. against certain targets. Gonna turn around and just fight the Herald now at this point. Gets a few good hits in, actually. Spirit of Tepok definitely fighting for its life here. Horned ones also charge in, but the Herald manages to screen through his own Halberds. Chosen also fighting against the infantry here, but we're going to see another orbital laser. That actually might do a little bit of friendly fire. Let's get in close from the Lizardmen's point of view and see how close it does get. Ooh, Horned one's also charging in the side there. It does apply some friendly fire across those units. Cohort of Sotek, of course, unbreakable, barely hanging on though. And the rest of these units also getting quite low in terms of HP. The leadership is still holding though, as they are all quite elite units, must be said. Yeah, Star Chamber Guardians, are they technically unbreakable for something? Yeah, Eternal Duty, okay. Actually forgot that existed. Is this new? So they actually gain unbreakable if a lord or hero is within range. That's really nice. That must be new. I can't remember that ability being there in the past. Spirit of Tepok also, in a duel of the fates against a Khorne motorcycle. Just two of the jankiest animated. I say that with love, of course. But a very odd sort of fight here. The Spirit of Tepok sort of hovers in the air, and then they both just mutually decide, like, okay, let's part ways. Yeah, but the Rev Crystal also taking some substantial damage. The Blood Reaper actually being able to kind of run around here in his own infantry and just get nice single-target damage on various units has been pretty good for Khorne so far, considering how cheap he is with nothing on foot. Well, I guess he does have a Hellblade anyway, but almost 1,000 damage value. Just running around, kind of, you know, cheap melee hero. Definitely has been pretty good value so far, but let's see. Another Flock of Doom there, and all these Chaos Halberds are getting within range where they could definitely get terror routed, and we do see that taking place. The Herald finishes the unit there. Spirit of Tepok hanging on, though. Might actually be able to finish the Herald. Will it? Oh, man. Down to about 100 HP. Yeah, the Herald's definitely done. I mean, the Quaddle bought it dearly, paid with its life, but manages to finish it off mostly. I mean, it set it into crumbling, so Tenuin's going to come in and steal the kill, but actually, which will trigger army losses, coincidentally, as the rest of the Halberds just terror rout. But yeah, poor Quaddle, paid with his life, gone too soon. Apparently there's some unbreakable unit. Oh yeah, the Blood Reaper also wasn't quite ready to go, but hits army losses and is disintegrated. So yeah, fun one from Bob. Big thanks to him for sending that one in. And it's a very enjoyable time for me on this auspicious day, the day of my birth, 31 years in the past. Yeah, thank you guys all so much for sticking with me. It's been my absolute pleasure to do this channel. It's been so much fun over the years. I'm going to continue to do it. Don't think this is like a goodbye speech or anything, but I just want to say thanks, just because you guys are incredible. Honestly, the reason I do this, I keep saying this, and I will continue saying this, it's because of the community, because of all of you guys watching, all the cool people I've been able to meet and interact with, you know, over the years. And so thank you. I just wanted to say that. And thank you to Bob. Thank you to Abaddon, his opponent here, who, again, had no idea this replay would end up in this spot. But as far as the value of the units go, I mean, Tenuin just feasting with Flock of Doom, and also some decent support value on, like, at least one good Whistlin's Wild Form there as well, which the Horned ones were able to get some good value on their part. Nice to see. They're sort of a risky unit, don't always pay back their value, but here we're able to do so. The Rev Crystal also healing some key units. Both the ROR Infantry do a great job. Star Chamber Guardians are quite expensive, don't technically pay for themselves, but the Cohort of Sotek do actually, and just tactically, of course, having that elite, unbreakable, actually, anti-large in the late game there. That was quite strong. Yeah, as far as the Khorne side goes, the Halberds all are going to pay for themselves. I mean, you would expect that with a lot of healing, expensive monsters, but the Chosen even managed to pay for themselves as well. Heralds of Khorne's Fury do a pretty decent job. Even one Fury itself manages to pay for itself. 1171 on the Blood Reaper, 1385 on the Herald. Yeah, I mean, ended up being pretty close at the end of the day. Just didn't quite have enough in the tank to actually finish those big monsters. But nice to see something besides just, you know, Scarbrand plus the dog bro. What's his name? Karnak. But, yeah. What was I going to check here? That's right, the Blood Reaper. So, I mean, even with his abilities, he pays for himself. But with nothing, he's only 700 points. I mean, that was That was mad value. That's like plus, what, 400 extra value on this guy just from pure DPS. So yeah, from a Khorne's perspective, I'm surprised actually you don't see more of these guys, especially, I mean, you consider like another similar-ish hero. Of course, I would say that the Dragon Slayer is better, but similar, I mean, he is 100 points cheaper, and he's legitimately unbreakable instead of just being like pretend unbreakable like demons are. Blood Reapers, leadership is high enough, it's going to be pretty hard to get them to disintegrate, but they're pretty comparable units in many ways. The Blood Reaper doesn't have quite as much weapon strength or defense, but higher attack, also comes with fire damage, and actually has some armor. Of course, that weapon strength also charges up over time if he's able to get more than 80 kills, which is a lot, to be honest. It's probably not realistic for them to expect to get that in a multiplayer battle, but hey, it seems like solid value potentially there. You guys have to let me know down in the comments below your thoughts. Again, thank you all so much for watching, especially today. And yeah, appreciate you guys. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.